Welcome to my channel. In today's video we will be telling you scary stories, so make sure to turn off the lights, stay in bed and enjoy the show. Also, if you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe so that you can be notified when we upload new stories. And with that out of the way, let's begin. The first story is called The Forgotten Name. Sarah moved into a new apartment. It was nice and modern. Everything was included in the rent. All she had to do was move in and relax. The only problem was that the apartment was right above noisy bars and clubs. But Sarah didn't care about that. She was excited to start fresh. She unpacked her boxes and decided to go grocery shopping. As she walked through the automatic doors of the grocery store, she heard someone call her name. "Excuse me, Emily, right?" Startled, Sarah turned around. A woman in her 60s stood there holding a basket filled with canned goods. "I'm sorry, did you say something?" Sarah asked. The old woman blinked. "Oh, I thought you were my neighbor, Emily. You moved in right above me, didn't you? I'm your downstairs neighbor, Helen. Nice to meet you, dear." She smiled and walked away. Sarah felt confused, but she shrugged it off. She continued shopping until she heard her name being called again. "Emily, right?" Startled again, Sarah turned around, but it was just the cashier. No, my name is Sarah," she said. "Oh, okay, sorry to misgender you," the cashier said, and quickly scanned the rest of her groceries. Back home, Sarah tried to ignore the incident. She unpacked her groceries and started cooking dinner. Later that evening, after the cooking was done, she went out for a walk. She took deep breaths, enjoying the warm summer night. As she turned toward her apartment building, she saw Helen waiting by the stairs. "Oh, hey, how are you?" Sarah asked. "I'm fine, dear. Just going up," Helen replied with a strange smile. When Helen passed by, Sarah noticed that she wasn't carrying any groceries. "Wait a minute, you don't live above me," Sarah realized. Helen stopped on the second floor and disappeared behind the door. Struggling with her keys, Sarah opened the front door and went inside. On the small table next to the door, she found an old, worn-out letter. It read, "Emily, come back. We miss you." Sarah immediately panicked. Was this about the missing person case from a few years back? Hadn't they caught the guy who did it? Sarah shook her head, dismissing the thought. There was no way. She opened the letter. It was addressed to Emily. She must have gotten the wrong apartment. She threw the letter on the table and went to her bedroom. She wanted to forget about what had just happened. The next morning, Sarah woke up early. She made breakfast, then cleaned the apartment. She hummed a tune while she worked. Suddenly she stopped. She looked at the letter on the table. Something about it seemed familiar, but when she tried to focus on the details, her mind went blank. "What am I thinking?" she asked herself. Still confused, she went to work. Throughout the day, she couldn't focus on her work. Every time she tried to think about what was bothering her, her mind went blank. In the afternoon, Sarah decided to take a break. She sat down in front of the mirror and stared at her reflection. That's when she noticed that her reflection mouthed the word Emily. Sarah screamed and fell backward. "That's not possible," she whispered. She returned to work, but her colleagues soon approached her desk. "Are you okay? You've been staring at the computer screen for hours," one of them asked. "Yeah, I'm fine," she lied. Sarah worked until late in the evening. Once her boss left the office, Sarah went home. She wanted to find answers. She checked her purse. The old letter was still in there. She pulled it out and studied it. It was written in elegant cursive letters. The signature, though, was scrunched up, almost illegible. She took a magnifying glass out of her bag. This was a habit she picked up when she worked at an antique shop. With the magnifying glass, she could make out the signature. It said, Helen. Suddenly, it all came back to her. This was the same letter her parents gave her when they dropped her off at her new apartment. They told her to read it only if she needed help. But Sarah never thought she would actually need it. As Sarah stood there reading the letter, she heard her phone ring. Startled, she dropped the magnifying glass. It slid off the table and fell onto the floor with a loud crash. "Hello?" she asked cautiously. "Hi, it's Emily. Did you get my letter? I know I probably scared you, but I need your help. Please come back. We all miss you," a familiar voice said on the other end. "Who is this?" Sarah whispered. The line went silent. Then the person on the other end started laughing. It sounded like a woman in her 60s. "Did you forget me already?" "Oh, don't worry. You'll remember," the woman said, and hung up. Shaken, Sarah checked her phone. The name "Unknown Caller" was displayed on the screen. She looked at the letter again. What did her parents mean when they told her to read the letter if she needed help? What was in the letter that was so important? Hadn't they always encouraged her to move out and start her own life? Why would they send her to an apartment full of strangers? Who was Emily, and where was she? Questions echoed in Sarah's mind. Suddenly, she felt two hands on her shoulders. Startled, Sarah screamed and turned around. Standing there was a woman in her 60s. "Don't be afraid, dear. I'm here to help you," the woman said. Sarah froze. This was the same woman from the grocery store and the apartment building. "Who are you?" Sarah asked, her voice shaking. "Don't you recognize me, Sarah? I'm your mother," the woman said. "But I don't have a mother," Sarah replied. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Oh, but you do," her mother insisted. She reached out and touched Sarah's face. "Do you still remember?" she asked softly. "Remember what?" Sarah whispered. "Come on, honey. It's time to go home now," her mother said. She helped Sarah put on her coat. As they walked outside, Sarah turned to her mother. "Where are we going?" she asked. Her mother pointed to the apartment building across the street. "That's where I live. Can we go there?" Sarah asked. "Of course, dear. That's our home," her mother replied. Sarah nodded slowly. As they crossed the street, a car nearly hit Sarah. She jumped and screamed. "Why didn't you protect me?" she shouted at her mother. Her mother put her arm around Sarah's shoulder. "We're home now," she said softly. "We're home." Sarah and her mother entered the apartment. It looked just like the apartment Sarah had moved into. The walls were white. The furniture was modern. Everything was in place. "Mom, what's going on? Why does this feel so familiar?" Sarah asked. "It's okay, honey. You'll remember soon," her mother replied. Sarah felt a sharp pain in her chest. "Mom, I can't breathe," she cried. "Oh, I'm sorry. It's time for you to go back now," her mother said. She walked to the door. "Back where?" Sarah asked. "Back to your apartment," her mother said. "No, I want to stay here," Sarah replied. "We're not at your apartment, sweetheart. This is your home," her mother said. "But I'm not Emily," Sarah protested. "Oh, but you are. You always have been," her mother insisted. She walked towards Sarah and gently touched her forehead. "Now, do you remember?" she asked. "I'm sorry," Sarah whispered. She closed her eyes. "I remember now," she said.